Look at e to the x. It is the mathematical definition of runaway growth. As x increases, the value explodes toward infinity, doubling and tripling at an accelerating rate. Now, look at e to the ix. Mathematically, we are raising that same constant, approximately 2.718, to a power. Yet no matter how large x gets, the result never exceeds a magnitude of 1. It doesn't explode, it circles. Why does adding a single imaginary unit turn an infinite explosion into a perfect closed loop? To understand this, we first need to look at the mechanics of standard exponential growth. In the real number line, the function f of x equals e to the x has a defining mathematical property. Starting from a value of 1 at x equals 0, its rate of change is exactly equal to its current value. This means the derivative, dx de to the x, is also e to the x. If you are at 10, your growth speed is 10, creating a runaway feedback loop that pushes the value toward infinity. But what happens when that growth is forced to change direction? When we introduce I, we are no longer moving along a one-dimensional line. We are operating in the complex plane, where the horizontal axis represents real numbers and the vertical axis represents imaginary numbers. In this two-dimensional space, numbers are vectors with a magnitude and direction, and the variable t acts as an angle measured in radians. When we write e to the it, we are describing a point moving continuously in this plane as the angle increases. To see why it stays trapped in a circle, we have to look at its velocity vector. Multiplication by I in the complex plane has a specific geometric effect. It rotates any vector by exactly 90 degrees counterclockwise. This is the engine behind Euler's formula. If e to the x is like a car driving straight away from the origin as fast as possible, e to the it is a car where the steering wheel is locked at a hard left. Every bit of growth is redirected perpendicular to the current position. But how exactly does this redirection prevent the magnitude from increasing even a little bit? Let's apply the chain rule to the expression f of t equals e to the it. The derivative, or the velocity of our point, is I e to the it. Notice the structure. The velocity is the current position, e to the it, multiplied by I. Since multiplying by I rotates a vector by 90 degrees, this means the velocity is always perpendicular to the position vector. If your velocity is always at a right angle to your distance from the center, you can never move further away or closer to that center. You are stuck in a perfect orbit. Think of a stone tied to a string being whirled around your head as a helpful physical analogy. The string's tension continuously pulls the stone toward the center, acting perpendicular to its forward velocity. Because this inward pull only changes the direction of motion and never its speed, the stone maintains a constant distance. While e to the it relies on an algebraic operation rather than physical tension, the geometry is identical. Multiplying by I continuously steers the trajectory at a perfect right angle, acting as a mathematical tether that keeps the value from exploding. If we expand e to the ix using its Taylor series, we get an infinite sum. 1 plus ix plus the ix squared divided by 2 factorial plus the ix cubed divided by 3 factorial plus the ix to the fourth divided by 4 factorial, and so on. As we calculate the powers of I, a cyclical pattern emerges. I, -1, I, 1. This repeating cycle introduces alternating negative signs, meaning the terms don't just accumulate toward infinity, they systematically subtract from each other. The real components form the alternating series for cosine of x, and the imaginary ones form sine of x, producing a continuous oscillation. This leads to a fundamental geometric necessity. How does the magnitude stay exactly at 1? The magnitude of a complex number, a plus bi, is calculated using the Pythagorean theorem, the square root of a squared plus b squared. For e to the ix, this becomes the square root of cosine squared of x plus psi squared of x. Because of the fundamental trigonometric identity, this sum is always 1. No matter how large x becomes, whether it's 10, 1,000, or a billion, the point e to the ix is always exactly 1 unit away from the origin. It is a prisoner of the unit circle. This brings up a critical question. What does this mean for real-world signals and engineering? This lack of explosion is why we use e to the ix to describe everything from radio waves to quantum wave functions. If e to the ix exploded like e to the x, our physical models would break instantly, violating fundamental conservation laws, such as the conservation of probability in quantum mechanics. Instead, e to the ix perfectly preserves its magnitude, providing an incredibly efficient way to represent endless oscillation and rotation using the algebraic language of exponents rather than complex geometric constructions. But this constant, E, didn't just appear out of nowhere to solve rotational physics problems. We've seen how the imaginary unit tames the exponential function, turning a runaway explosion into a stable orbit. It's a geometric trick that allows us to map growth to rotation. But E itself has a much more grounded origin, starting not with complex rotations, but with a simple question about compound interest and money that a mathematician named Bernoulli tried to solve, only to realize that someone else had almost stumbled upon it years earlier. To understand why we use this specific number as the base for all these rotations, you need to see how Bernoulli found E.